In this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 scariest mistakes most people make when their spouse wants out, and how you may unintentionally be pushing your spouse further away, and what you must do instead. Hello, Thrivers. Welcome and thank you for coming to High Thrive Coaching, the #1 marriage resource in the world. My name is Heather Choate, and I want to thank each and every single one of you as we continue our mission to help thousands of couples create a thriving marriage that they both love. Now, make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video because I have something really important for you if your spouse is pulling away from you, if they say, I love you, but I'm not in love with you, or they are pushing for divorce. You don't want to miss that, so make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video. So what do you do when your spouse is saying, I love you, but I'm not in love with you? Raise your hand, leave a comment if that's what's going on for you. What do you do if they're saying, I'm in love with someone else, I'm having an affair? What do you do when they want a divorce, or they're checked out, or they want separation? Well, here at High Thrive Coaching, we've now helped tens of thousands of couples around the world to save their marriage. And I've seen, after working with so many of you, talking to you here on YouTube, on social media, having literally hundreds of conversations with you guys every single week, there are a couple of really common mistakes that end up pushing your spouse away if you're not careful. And I want to make sure that you don't make one of them. Mistake number 1, demanding that they work on the marriage with you. Leave a comment. Are you demanding that your spouse works on the marriage with you? I get it. This is really normal, natural. You say they made a vow. They should honor their vows. They need to change. They need to go to counseling. They need to do this with me. They need to insert blank so that I can feel better about what's going on here, right? But what happens when you've made up your mind that you don't want to do something, and now someone's telling you, you need to go do this thing? Does it make you want to do it anymore? No, it only makes you dig your heels in further. And that is exactly what your spouse is doing. And so you may be right. What they're doing may be unhealthy. It may be, dishonorable and going back on their vows. But at this point, if your spouse is saying that they want out, you telling them that they have to work on the relationship, or they have to change, or they have to end the affair, they have to go to counseling or coaching with you, is only going to push them further away, which is not what we want. That goes to the second mistake here, which is manipulating our spouse, manipulating them. And I cringe every time I hear one of these, but it happens, right? We get really desperate. And I also understand and want you guys to give yourself some grace if this is where you're at, because the bottom line is you just haven't known up until now. But now you can start to learn some new ways of doing this and start to actually see the relationship that you want to have unfold before your eyes. But manipulating, it sounds like, I'm going to take the kids from you. I'm going to wreck your credit. If you go have this affair, then I'm going to go do whatever I want with whoever I want, right? And we make these threats. I'm going to ruin your credit. I'm going to wreck you financially. I'm going to ruin your reputation. We make these threats because we want our spouse to come away from the threat back to us. But does it work? No. It never works. And I want you to think about this. If it did work and they did come back to you because you were manipulating them or threatening them or doing any of those mind games, is that really what you want? Think about it long term. Future pace this a little bit. If they came back to you and you know that they did it just because you manipulated them, would that give you the strong, secure, beautiful, healthy relationship that your heart is actually craving and that you actually want and is going to work long-term successfully? So just check in with yourself if you feel that, desire or the impulse to do any of those mind games or manipulations, okay? Mistake number 3, pleading with your spouse. Please don't go. Please come back to me. Please don't leave me. Please give me another chance. I'm begging you. I'll do anything to fight for my marriage, right? Please, 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 please. And we get into all of this fear and this desperation. Now, I understand where you're coming from because I felt that myself. My husband tends to be the one that pulls away, and I tend to be the one to try to pursue him because it freaks me out when he starts to pull away, right? It does not feel good to be rejected by those that we want to love, to have love us. And so if you're doing any of that pleading, I just want you to realize what's going on inside your spouse. So imagine that you're in a room and you're with someone that's really, really tense here. They're really coming at you with a lot of fear and a lot of desperation. What do you naturally want to do when someone comes at you like that? You want to back away, right? You want to create some space because it doesn't feel safe here. And so in a similar way, your spouse is doing the same thing. When you come at them with all of this fear and all of this desperation, it is really not a safe feeling environment for your spouse to be around. And so they don't feel safe with you. And we automatically, naturally want to be around people that we feel safe with. So my friends, I get it. Like, it's so easy and so natural to slip into any of these push kind of methods. But if you're pushing them, the word push is right because it's only going to push them further away. So what we teach here is what I call our push versus pull method. Pull method is all about making things safe and comfortable for you and your spouse so they actually stop running. One of the first markers that we look for with our clients is that the spouse that's pulling away hits the pause button. They hit the pause button and they're no longer moving closer towards divorce or moving closer towards another person or just becoming more checked out from you. They hit that pause button, and that pause button is powerful. I absolutely love it when clients get to this point where they get, their spouse is no longer pulling further away from them. And it's a powerful thing. And so if you haven't experienced your spouse hitting the pause button yet, then we definitely need to get you there. And we'll show you how. It's about creating positive experiences so that they actually want to spend time with you. They actually want to talk to you again. And they see you as a good option here. Building trust step by step so you both feel safe and secure. And making sure that they don't feel used or manipulated in any way. So as we do those things, that's how your spouse will naturally be pulled back to you. The right method, it acts like a magnet, like drawing you guys back together. And it feels good, it feels right, and it feels lasting because it is. And the most important thing to understand is that everything we talked about with the pull method starts with you. It has to. You cannot wait for your spouse to get on board or to go to counseling or to go to coaching with you. That's like saying that you're going to plant the seeds in the garden after you see the plants growing, right? You just must be willing to go first here. And it's absolutely possible. And I'll show you how to do that in another video. So if you want that, go ahead and click that video of how to save your marriage on your own. But the bottom line is you have to be willing to go first because anything else at this point is marriage suicide. And so if something inside of your heart is saying, I need to do this, I need to make this work. There's something inside of me that even though everyone else is telling me to give up, to move on, it's hopeless, it's pointless, don't you respect yourself? But something inside of you is saying, no, I want to know I gave my marriage everything that I could. This relationship is the most important thing to me. And so I'm willing to do what it takes, even if my spouse isn't on board at first. So as you do that and you make this decision, okay, yeah, I'm on board, Heather. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm willing to do it even if my spouse isn't willing to work on things with me right now. I'm going to do it so that they will hit the pause button. And then after they hit the pause button, they'll start to take some steps towards you. And eventually they'll get to the place where they do want to work on the relationship with you, which is a beautiful place. And I can't wait to see you get there. So you must be willing to go first. After you're willing to go first, now it's really important that you understand certain things that are going to push them further away. And the sad thing is, when I'm talking to so many of you, oftentimes you think that you're doing the right things and you have no clue that you are unintentionally pushing them away and that the things that you're doing may be completely backfiring. So let me illustrate this. Last fall, a client came to us and he was really perplexed at his wife's behavior. Every day he would send her this beautiful text message, letting her know how much he loved her, how much he cared about her, how grateful he was for her. Very like Love Dare-esque, right? I read the Love Dare many, many times and I tried to like service my husband to death and it just absolutely was ineffective, right? But he sent these gorgeous text messages and he let her know that I'm not going to give up on my marriage. Does that sound familiar? Have you done this whole texting your spouse to try to win their heart back thing? Let me know in the comments if that's you. You're not alone. Now they're separated, right? And she wanted nothing to do with the marriage anymore. She told him, I'm done. Please stop texting me. I don't want to hear this. You should just move on. But he insisted that he was doing the right thing and that if she didn't know that he still loved her, it would be like he was giving up on their relationship. And he didn't want to give up on the relationship. He wanted to fight for it. Again, does that sound familiar? Let me know in the comments because you're not alone. A lot of people make these kind of mistakes. And so we asked him how she was interpreting these texts, if she saw them as like a loving, thoughtful gesture. And he thought for a minute and he said, no. We asked him if they were helping her to feel safe, to feel comfortable, to feel understood by him. And again, a sullen no. That's right, we said. So how do you think she would feel if you stopped texting her as she asked you? And he said, I guess she'd feel like I'm listening to her, like I'm respecting her. That's right. So he let go of his need for security, his need to show and prove that he was fighting for the marriage. And he actually stopped texting her. What do you think happened? Let me know in comments. Let us know. And if you've ever done this yourself or your spouse has, where has that led you to? So let us know and we're happy to talk to you about it. So he stopped texting her. And what happened was she noticed. And their conversations that they were having face to face became less tense. And they began reconnecting in actually positive ways. Because she felt respected, she felt heard and understood by him. What he thought was the right thing to do here was actually pushing her further away. And once he understood that and learned how to make her feel safe and comfortable, she stopped running and was eventually able to take a step toward him. Do you see the difference? Hit the like button if you think this is helpful. Do you see the difference here, right? That's why it's so crucial that you make things safe and comfortable first. So Marc and I here at High Thrive Coaching, we put together a great resource for you to get started with this because it's a journey. And let's face it, most of us don't know how to solve our own problems. And if we did, we wouldn't have problems, right? So this is a great way to get started. A guide of how to save your marriage on your own. And the link is right here in the description below this video. So go ahead and grab that. If you liked this video, make sure that you subscribe because we'd love to have you join us on the journey to having a happy, thriving marriage, one that both you and your spouse absolutely love. I call it a freaking awesome marriage because life's too short to live anything else other than a freaking awesome marriage. And we also want to let you know that as you get that guide, you can take a self-assessment so that you don't unintentionally push your spouse away anymore. It'll help uncover how you may unintentionally be doing that and what you should start doing instead based on where you are at in your relationship. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, don't forget to please give us a big thumbs up. And if you feel like you yourself are a person who is experiencing the same things we just talked about, I encourage you to join our Thriving Marriage Facebook group. Again, link below, or book a free call and start having a conversation with us. Share your story and your experience with us, and we'll see what we can do to help you take the next best step. So remember, my friends, that life is precious. Time is short. Life is a beautiful, beautiful gift. It has its challenges. They come to all of us, but we get to decide what we do about it. So create the marriage and the life you want now. You choose where you go, and we'll help you get there.
Thanks for listening to The Thriving Marriage, your A to Z blueprint for not just surviving marriage, but thriving. Until next time, my friends, thrive on.